And I'm back. So I realized that my reading of the story hasn't been that great. I've been sick. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep in the last 4 days. But today I'm feeling better, and I just woke up not too long ago. I've had some caffeine, so I'm going to do my best to read the rest of this way through properly. And we have got a lot of interesting characters in this novel to get to know, obviously. A freaking Yakuza gang member, a wannabe superhero, a blind sister who is in love with us. It's crazy. Okay. That too made for an abridged story of my life. Prologue 3.
Obaka. じゃなかった。美咲さんともお会いしたんですね。
I asked Machida about Misaki on our way to school the next day, and she evidently had the same impression of her as I did. I could have sworn you just called her the dumb one.
私とミユさんと美咲さんがうちのクラスの仲良し3人組なんですよ。
Naturally, she glossed that over when I pressed her about it. Her unseeing eyes alone were perfect at doing that. It's almost like they're the Three Stooges. You have quite the balance of power. There's good, the bad, and the ordinary.
誰が悪い子なんですか?
It certainly isn't Misaki or Miu.
みちるは悪い子ですわ。
This isn't the time of day for that. Anyway, Misaki acted like I was her sworn enemy or something, since I'm a Saotari. So, why is she friends with you?
私はほら、この目のことがありますから。
Machida gazed at me with her eyes that could not see.
むしろ美咲さんは学園では非常によく私を助けてくれています。
Wow, she sounds like a devoted husband.
可愛らしくてずっと手元に置いておくか食べてしまいたいですよね。
You can say some scary things, you know that?
あら、兄様も好きでしょ？ああいう感じの子。
Yeah, I love him.
いじると楽しいですものね。
As siblings, we both assessed Masaki's personality very harshly. I suspected, since we were talking about her, she must have sneezed at that very moment. As we were walking the usual route to school, I spotted a familiar face. I could have ignored her, but I guess courtesy is everything. Hey, Makoto! Makoto was in front of us, and turned around as I called her. Morning!
ああ、レイ君、おはよう。
Makoto greeted me half-heartedly, but her face lit up when she noticed that my sister was with me.
その子が妹さんだね。確か、みちるちゃん。ええ。兄様、こちらの方は。
Makoto Jonochi, a classmate of mine.
そうでしたか。いつも兄がお世話になっております。
Shida politely bowed at Makoto, ever acting like a perfect lady in front of everyone else but me.
おお、噂通りのすごい子。
Seems you're quite the topic of conversation with other girls after all, Michiru.
レイ君よりは沢渡の盲目のお姫様の方が有名だからね。そんな大層なものではありません。
Makoto suddenly came over and stood beside me.
ところでみちるちゃん、噂通りなら一人でも問題なく歩けるんだよね。ちょっと。何か兄にご用ですか？安心して。5体満足で みちるちゃんに返せるように努力はするから。
What are you gonna do? This is kind of
そ
sudden.
れでしたら、
Michiru went ahead without us. She evidently trusted Makoto's word. The two of us were left alone together. What's up, Makoto? She still had a big grin on her face. After one cursory glance around to verify no one else was watching, she jabbed me hard in the ribs. Her jab didn't appear particularly forceful from a bystander's viewpoint, but it felt like a ton of bricks had hit me. Where'd she learn how to do this? It hurts.
レイ君、朝から女の子を呼び捨てとは気安いですね。
In sharp contrast to her award-winning smile, I felt a menacing aura emanating from her entire being. Makoto, I believe you may or may not have told me it was quite acceptable to be lax with the formalities in your presence. I smiled sheepishly as I found myself speaking like a total psychopath.
言ってくれますね、ボボちゃん。
Oh, no. I was not intending to give that impression.
私は TPO をわきまえろって言ってるんだよ。あんな大きな声で親しげに名前を呼ばれたら変な噂が立つでしょ。
Is greeting a classmate in the morning that much of a big screaming deal to you?
呼び捨てなのが問題だってこと。
I mean, surely you must know that it is perfectly ordinary for me to address anyone to whom I speak with a casual tone like that. Mayhap, perchance, that might have slipped your mind but for an instant?
そういえば、そうだった。ごめん。
She hastily stepped away, stood up straight, and puffed out her chest.
叩いたのも早合点だったね。本当にごめん。さあ、私のことも全力で叩いてちょうだい。
I really think that would give people the wrong idea too.
じゃあ、貸しってことにしておいて。
Makoto laughed, as if that was the end of that. The sight of her, the likable and virtuous one, was something I couldn't bring myself to hate.
ごめんね、レイ君。妹さんとの投稿邪魔しちゃって。
No, it's nothing. Nothing at all. Nope. I wanted to jokingly say, your acting sucks, but I didn't have the guts to word it out that way. Still, maybe the clumsy quick to jump to conclusions side of Makoto was more than the real hurt. Even if she really did seem ready to whoop my butt at the drop of a hat back there. You know, Makoto, you don't have to keep acting like someone you're not.
レイ君、その話を続けるんですか？
Hey, don't get mad. I'm trying to give you some serious advice here. I would think it'd be better if you were more honest with yourself.
でも、親が娘に堅気として生きてくれって切実に願ってるんだよ。その心意気を汲んで、黒いものでも親が白と言うなら白だっていうのがこの役割でしょ？
You make it sound so straightforward, but I doubt other people would say you're being honest with yourself at all.
そう？今の変だったかな？
Her panicking face quickly turned crimson. See what I mean? That's more like you. Getting flustered at the weirdest things. Feeling I could get away with it now, I took the chance to gently bonk her on the head. Makoto looked up at me in surprise. You're talking about your family, though. I'm in the same boat. I know that you can't choose your own family, so I guess I can empathize with you a bit there. Like, I get it. Your family is Yakuza, and you're trying to live an upstanding life regardless. But you're going to be influenced by your family no matter what, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In any case, I think you're cute, so don't worry about it so much.
もう考えておく。なんだよもう調子狂うな。
Makoto pouted while averting her gaze from me. Well, all things considered, I guess I couldn't ask you to change your attitude overnight. It was for the best if you took things one step at a time with a girl, after all. Arriving at school, I started my journey through the day on autopilot. I fought off the urge to sleep while sitting through the interminable class. Given this was the summer of my second year here, you would think most of my classmates would be hitting the books for college right now, but the Solitary Company is more or less the influential backbone of this town, employing most of its students. Plus, the recession didn't hit here as hard as it did elsewhere. Furthermore, the company emphasizes practical experience over educational level in their hiring process, so final exams were more of a formality here. It was good to see everyone as laid back as this. I'd never endured any hardship myself, but I knew that nothing good ever came from someone letting their guard down. Still, I suppose the laid-back atmosphere made it a little easier for me to forget about the pressure being put on myself. Alright, it's lunchtime. After the bell rang and the teacher left the room, I went over to Shuji's desk. Shuji! Given that glum response, I guess you know what I want to talk about. I hope you have some time after school today. Ah, shut up. You promised we'd talk about it today. Shuji gave me a bit of an apathetic shrug. Having said my piece, I took my lunch and left the classroom. While she wasn't quite as nervous as before, Mio still greeted me with a bit of awkwardness in her smile. Looks like she didn't fall off the roof today, though it was plain to see why. After all, Mio wasn't by herself today. I think you have a little too much sun in your diet. Whoops. I skipped over it! I think you have a little bit too much sun in your diet. Masaki must have tagged along with Mio to act as her guardian today or something. Speaking of which, what do you two like to drink? Just a little survey I'm doing. While Masaki answered right away, Mio cocked her head in a slight hesitation and gave her own answer. Milk? Quite the sincere motive there. Alright, see you later. I hurled the pocket watch against the ground. Oh, snap! He's gonna get their favorite drinks on the way up, right? Quicker than the blink of an eye, I found myself in a hall on the first floor where the vending machines and cafeteria were located. 5 minutes earlier, just as planned. Having confirmed Mio was safe, I figured it wouldn't hurt to stop and buy some drinks on the way back to the roof. I mean, walking all the way to the roof from here is such a hassle. I wasn't out of shape or anything, but I was still a little out of it. I bought black tea and milk. Along with that, what I usually drink, then set out to the roof again. Here's some milk for you, Mio. Drink up. Mio reflexively took the drink and thanked me, but she still seemed confused about why I brought her a drink to begin with. And some plain black tea from Masaki. Masaki's face turned pale with fright. Her comical overreaction was pretty amusing. How do you think I knew? She seemed very self-conscious about that, but she was careless to reveal the chink in her armor. Honestly, Mio, yours were a little disappointing.
まだ成長期ですから。そのはずだけど、なんかみーちゃんはずっとそのままな気がするんだよね。いつかみさきちゃんより大きくなるもん。
Seemingly about to tear up, Mio opened her milk and practically poured it down her throat. I figured it was best to go a little easier on her until she calmed down. So why are you here, Misaki?
あなたの監視よ。
In that case, I'll let you know next time I need to use the bathroom.
何を見せようとしてるのよ。
Misaki stomped the ground and yelled at me. These two first years really are a fun dynamic duo.
知ってるのよ。あなたがみーちゃんにおかしなことを吹き込んで、あわよくば好き勝手しようとしていることを弟子に。
Doing what I want with Mio, huh?
そこで真顔になって考え込まないでよ。何を考えてるのか想像しただけで気持ち悪いから。
Aw, you meanie? I was only thinking of giving her head pats, or playing airplane with her. Stuff like that.
それセクハラ。セクハラね。
You tell me. Seemingly by coincidence, Misaki and I both turned to look at Mio in unison.
気持ちはわからなくもないかも。
Right?
セクハラより屈辱です。
Mio evidently had come back to reality and started getting mad at me again, but even that was charming. In fact, I noticed that Mio was a lot more sociable with Saki around. She must have been really nervous when it was just the two of us.
とにかく今日は私の可愛い親友を守りに来たの。
Well, if Mio says it's okay for you to be around, then I don't have any objections either.
みさきちゃんがいてくれた方が落ち着けます。
It's not really something to be smug about, you know. I expected her to get mad again at my retort, but her smile never wavered.
気をつけなさい。今日の私を優しく丁寧に扱わないと、先輩にはレディをエスコートする能力なしって判断しちゃうわよ。
Oh, I see. So you're not just keeping an eye on me, you're trying to determine if I'm worthy enough for Mio.
その通りよ。でも安心しなさい。私はとっても公平だから、よくできたら先輩にも花丸をあげちゃうんだから。
Right, sure. So I have to earn her personal stamp of approval, do I? That's cute. Sounds easy enough, I guess. So I just have to be nice to you all day, right, Misaki?
その通り。二人とも違うよ。目的が変わってるよ。あ、そうね。みーちゃんの次に私を可愛がるのよ。そうじゃないよ。あれ？なんだっけ？私が男の人になれるための練習だよ。男？みーちゃんもこの男を異性として見ているの？見てるよ。男の人だよ。そうじゃなきゃ石田先輩に告白する練習にならないよ。二股なんて大人すぎでしょ。みーちゃんにはまだ早すぎる。大人になっても二股はダメだよ。みさきちゃん、何しに来たの？
Mio was on the verge of tears as she screamed out to her friend. These first years are something else. I made one little offhand remark, and I got a complete Abbott and Costello routine from these two. Oh, and I got a complete Abbott and Costello routine from these two. That seemed like an ominous sort for the future. It would probably be hugely disruptive to world peace if I incited a really bad fight between them. In any case, I needed to get this conversation back on track since Mio seriously looked like she was about to cry. She just wants me to help her out with her anxiety so she can confess to Suji, that's all. But if Misaki's around, the whole dating practice thing would have to wait until tomorrow. No wait, tomorrow's Saturday. I see. That's perfect, Misaki. If you're not concerned about Mio and I, Then we should all go out after somewhere, fuck. Then we should all go somewhere after school, just us three.
デートですね。
Sharp as ever, Mew.
何をしたら恋人っぽいんだろうって考えて、私も一番最初に思いついたことがデートですから。
See? It won't be so scary to do something you normally wouldn't if you have some idea of what it's like.
そうですね。何二人していい雰囲気を熟成させてるのよ。デートよ。
Little Miss Melodramatic spoke up again. I told you, it's just practice.
練習だって言えば何してもいいわけじゃないでしょ。
See, that's the point. You should come along. Just to keep an eye out and make sure that we don't pull any shenanigans.
私はクレープが食べたいわ。
I can't convince you to do something for us without you demanding something in return, can I? In spite of that, I took it as a sign of Misaki's approval. Even if Miu and I had come up with the idea, it would have been difficult to actually go through it if it was just her and me. Misaki getting involved was really perfect. Right. I gotta talk to Shuji after school, then I'll meet you guys at the train station after that. Might be a half hour or so you'll have to wait for me.
連絡がつくように携帯とメールの番号を交換した方がいいかもですね。
Yeah, sounds good.
私はそんな気軽に交換しないわよ。
Doesn't matter. As long as I can at least keep in touch with Miu, it'll be fine.
なんでよ。私とも交換しなさいよ。
Ignoring Masaki's latest episode of cognitive dissonance, Miu and I gave each other our phone numbers. Miu's girlish name stuck out like a sore thumb in my list of contacts, which otherwise just contained my family numbers and all my male friends. For a moment, I stared dumbstruck at the juxtaposition.
お父さん以外の男の人のアドレスって初めて。
Miu blushed, staring at my name entered into her phone's contact. Saki watched with her visible restlessness.
別に羨ましくなんてないんだから。
Yeah, I'll ask for yours too if something comes up.
絶対よ。
Yeesh. Does she want me to exchange phone numbers with her or not? But it's funny. So I guess I egged her on, just a little bit. Alright. See you later. I waved at them as I left for the classroom. I felt like I was walking on air. Soon I would be going on my very first date in all my life. The last few classes of the day felt like an eternity since I was excited for my little outing, but soon the final bell sounded at last. Shuji!
忘れちゃいない。
As homeroom ended, I called out to Suji, who came over to me, clearly not in any hurry. We really shouldn't talk about this here.
外でいいだろう。
Shuji started walking ahead of me as I followed him. Stopping to change our shoes at the lockers, we then stopped outside. There were still a lot of students around who had club activities or who were getting ready to go home. Suji evidently knew that would be the case as he was leading me away from the school grounds. After a while, Shuji and I stopped at the beach a little ways down from the road of the school entrance. The beach, huh? Seems pretty romantic.
何が悲しくて、男二人でこんなところにいなきゃいけないんだ。
I guess. I gave a half-hearted response to his sniderness.
で、ここ何日か、山水が昼休みの旅にこそこそと出かけてたのは、ミユって子の絡みか。
Yeah, you probably already know this, but she wants another chance at confessing her feelings to
そ
you.
れで、
There's just one thing I want to ask. Why did you turn her down last time? There was no sense in being wishy-washy about it, so I asked him directly. Like, if you have a girlfriend already or you're interested in someone else, you could have just told her, you know?
あのな、山水。先に警告しておいてやるけど、俺の話を聞いたら、お前もちょっと。
Me? I craned my neck at Suji. Evidently, he was being serious. From the way he was talking, it sounded like there had been something he wasn't telling me all along.
もしこれ以上聞く覚悟があるなら、交換条件に一つだけ約束しろ。
It's nothing weird, I guess.
明日、お前の家に遊びに行きたいってだけだよ。
What's with that? You're welcome there anytime. It's not like you need a reservation.
俺にミュウの他に好きな相手がいるってのは当たりだ。
I get... Huh? Why did Shuji go all quiet on me? And why did he frame coming to hang out in my place as some kind of big important favor? Shuji, are you gay by any chance?
死ね。そこの海に飛び込んで今すぐ死ね。
What, I'm mistaken? Isn't that a perfectly good reason for you not to have a girlfriend? Even if it wasn't the one I was expecting.
お前の妹だよ。俺が好きなのはお前の妹沢渡みちるだ。
Okay, let's not overthink this. I need a minute here. Mio likes Shuji and Shuji likes Michiru, and it is beyond obvious that Michiru likes me. It seems that this bizarre love triangle between me, Mio, and Shuji just became a love rhombus. What the heck? I sat down and just buried my hand between my head between my hands. I feel like I've been doing that a lot lately. I heard Shuji, standing above me, give a long sigh. He was right, I really was a dumb. When I finally got to the appointed station, it was Masaki's turn to give me a tongue lashing. Sorry, I came straight here as soon as I could. The school and the station are on the opposite ends of town, so it didn't really matter which way I rode to the monorail, since neither would have been any faster. I wondered if the Earth's gravity had changed because my feet felt like blocks of cement. Mia seemed a little nervous, maybe because she saw a grimace on my face from before. No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. I could only smile and brush it to the side for now. I was in no mood to break the news to her about what Shuji had told me. Anyway, what's our itinerary? Our priority here is Mew, so just bear with us for now, Misaki. I doubted girls were very interested in arcades, and karaoke for the first date sounded a little sleazy. Where do girls like to hang out anyway? Hey, wanna go shop for clothes, Mew? It's a good opportunity. It seemed like a good idea, so I figured it was worth voicing.
Huh?
If we just go by the spur of the moment, I imagine things will start to feel more like a date. In that case, it's on me. Think of it as me making up to you for screwing up your last confession. I don't need your color commentary. Besides, my allowance isn't very much anyway. It's supposed to be from my education. I rolled my eyes and dismissed her with a wave of my hand. It's just that I happened to be winning some money, some easy money from a lottery ticket earlier. Let's just say it's enough for me to splurge a bit today and treat her to something nice. In reality, I'd help from the pocket watch, which let me win as much as I wished, but I stopped at 500,000 yen, just so no one would get suspicious. You'd probably be better off not buying tickets, Mio. While Mio tried to gloss over her worrying, I held up my hand and stopped her. Think about it for a moment, Mio. If you ever started dating Shuji, then I'm sure he'd want to treat you like this every once in a while, too. Clothes are a bit of a special case, but you should get used to letting the boy pay for the date. Just make sure that you never take it for granted when people buy you gifts, or else the gift is meaningless. If you don't accept the boy's gift, then you'll make him worried that you don't like him. Miyu's head swiveled nervously from me to Masaki.
先輩、自立した女子からしたら結構難しい話よ、それ。
He just needs to know about a man's pride and all that. Though, that does sound kind of pathetic when I say it out loud. I guess it was important to tell Miyu about it, so she'd keep it in mind for any future boyfriend she might come up with.
下心抜きならいいのかな？
Masaki was surprisingly relaxed, since she wasn't the focus of attention here.
そうかな。まあまあ、先輩に買ってもらうかはともかく、服を見るなら楽しいよ。
Masaki was probably looking forward to that more than Miyu, so she talked Miyu into going to the shopping district. Maybe I was lucky that Masaki decided to come along. Going on a date with two girls at once sounded fun too. And then I found myself lying on the ground and covering my face with both my hands, right in the middle of the street. Fun my butt. Me and Masaki had been enjoying themselves browsing the clothes for 2 whole hours now. People say the girls take a lot of time when shopping, but I didn't know it was this bad. It's not just bad, it's torture. At first, it felt fun, and fun and new, even though we were just looking at clothes. But Masaki and Miyu could never decide on what clothes they liked the most, and started getting weird looks from the other girls in the store whenever we walked anywhere near the underwear and lingerie departments. On the upteenth stop, I decided to wait outside the store instead of going in with them. All I could do was glance around the street and wonder why on earth there were so many stores selling women's clothing. Some genius thought there needed to be that many. Michiru never obsesses about clothes like these girls, since she can't see anyway. I suddenly hear 2 familiar voices yelling from inside the store. What is it?
これにしよう。かわいい。みさきちゃん、試着しただけでお会計してないかな。
I looked over and saw Miyu fall on the ground in front of the store as if Masaki had it pushed out. I froze in place. Miyu had been dragged out of the store wearing something different from when she went in, and she seemed really embarrassed about it. Though I wouldn't call how she looked weird at all. I would call her cute. I mean, cute! You're super cute! I had to say it twice to emphasize how I felt. She was adorable. I regretted how upfront I had been a little when I saw how embarrassed she was, but that outfit's ability to make an already cute girl like Miyu even cuter was formidable. Masaki! Good job! I gave Masaki a big thumbs up, and she puffed her chest out in pride. Also, Miyu! Please, go out with me! Masaki smacked me in the back of the head. I was joking! The whole thing about her being super cute wasn't a joke though. I was serious about that. Miyu squirmed uncontrollably in her embarrassment. Masaki, could you make Miyu smile for me? I asked her, while covertly pulling out my smartphone.
それはもちろん。あなた、可愛い服は大好きでしょ？好き。
She could turn the world on with a smile like that. The shutter of my phone's camera captured it perfectly. I wonder if she could audition to be an idol like this.
そうね。多線で行けるところを探してみましょう。そんなことされたら死んじゃいます。
Flailing her arms in panic, she tried to snatch my phone out of my hand, but I just told her it was a joke and put it away again. I am never going to delete that picture. Oh, maybe I went a little too far. Her voice almost pitiable. Mian ran back inside the store.
ああ、とにかく今の服でいいよね。
Of course. We might have teased her a bit too much, though. Still, even if you did force her to wear that, it was a good show. I spent a few minutes clearing the air with Masaki while we waited for Mio. That outfit had made such an impression on me, I almost didn't want Mio to leave the store without it.
落ち着きます。
She was back to her usual self. Now, if only there was some way I could help her to just let herself go a little more. Mia was suddenly drenched by a torrent of water from above, knocking her to the ground. As I stood there in shock, an empty bucket fell right down after that and hit Mia on the head as she lay on the ground in a daze. There must have been window washers up on the second floor. Man, what are the odds?
みーちゃんだし。
As Masaki reaffirmed what I already knew all too well about Mio's bad luck, I took up my pocket watch and threw it against the ground.
そんなことされたら死んじゃいます。
Oh, wait a minute.
どうしたの？
Nah, it's nothing. The thought occurred that it might have been easier if I hadn't rewound time.
着替えてきます。
Mew returned back into the store. Wait, Mew.
はい。
Mew seemingly had suspicions about my motive, so I just smiled and continued. It's nothing, but I should really apologize in advance. Sorry.
は？
Mew cocked her head in curiosity, but she was more worried about her clothes, so she went back into the store without another word.
何の話？
Masaki asked me about it once Mew was gone, but I just shrugged my shoulders and didn't answer.
とにかく今の服でいいよね。
Of course.
みーちゃんが素直にもらってくれるといいんだけど。
Despite Masaki's worrying, I said nothing in response. When Mio got drenched again a few minutes later, I went into the store to buy the outfit she tried on before, as well as a towel for her to dry off with. So he just let her get hit in the head again. Freak. After that, we'd spent so much time shopping for clothes on our first pretend date that by the time we finally went for crepes, the sun was starting to set. All in all, we'd wrapped up a good wholesome date.
先輩、本当にすみません。ありがとうございます。
I'd say everything worked out perfectly. Having seen her crying after getting her clothes wet earlier, I was the one who wanted to apologize. That said, her hair dried pretty quickly since it was summer, and she wouldn't have a problem wearing her uniform tomorrow since the water was clean. All's well that ends well.
まだ慣れないの。
Mia was still concerned about her outfit.
なんかいつもより周りから見られてた気がする。気のせいじゃないわよ。注目されてたもん。特に男の子から。
You must have eyes like a hawk.
先輩も明らかに兄弟じゃない女の子2人を連れて なんでこいつって感じで見られてたよ。
Really?
まあ私は他人から見つめられることになれないといけないからちょうどよかったけど。
I doubt she needed to be so smug about it, but I learned something new all the same. Girls really do pay heed to which guys are checking them out.
お父さんもびっくりするだろうな。
Miu must have gotten over her embarrassment because now she seemed really happy. Alright, shall we head home? We were already halfway home by that time. Our houses were in separate directions though, so I had to check with them.
私はスーパーに寄ってから帰ります。じゃあ私もここからまた駅の方に戻るわ。家がそっちなの。
Why'd you follow us all the way here then?
いやだってみーちゃんと先輩を夕方に二人きりになんてできないもん。
Who exactly are you worried about here?
どっちって。
Misaki nearly yelled at me, but stopped. And then she went completely red in the face. This time she really did yell at me, and then she ran off the way home. I'm surprised she hasn't been declared a public nuisance yet. Mio just laughed it off, since this is how Misaki always acted. Well, I better get going too.
先輩。
I stopped. Evidently, she still had something to say.
そのもうちょっとだけ一緒にいてもらっていいですか？
Sure, I guess. Now, what is it? Mia silently smiled and the sun dipped below the horizon. It was like she was waiting for a kiss, though that was just wishful thinking on my part. Is there something you don't want to talk about while Misaki's around?
冴えてますね。
Well, considering the timing, I just had a hunch.
先輩は私の恋人役ですよね。
Mia looked at me with a mischievous grin. It was no different from how she normally was. Or maybe this is what Mia really was like. Yeah, I'm acting. Kind of ashamed though.
残念なんですか？
Always wondered what it would be like to have a cute girlfriend.
じゃあ私ですみません。
You should get a new mirror, because your old one is clearly broken.
もともと貧乏で鏡がないんです。
Seriously?
冗談ですよ。鏡を変えた方がいいってセリフ、よく映画とかドラマでありますね。
Can't fool you for a second. It's hard to look cool in front of a genius.
お世辞でも可愛いって言ってくれてありがとうございます。
I assure you it wasn't flat. Something warm suddenly touched my hand. Mio giggled bashfully. She was holding my hand. It was a very familiar feeling. Her hand felt a lot smaller and warmer than Michiru's hands ever felt, though. The summer heat was really annoying, but the warmth of Mio's hand didn't bother me at all. No, I shouldn't think too far ahead here.
いつか好きな人ができてデートをするなら手をつないでみたかったんです。
Her hand was shaking. Even if she wanted to hold hands, she was definitely nervous about doing it for the first time. So I squeezed her hand back firmly. Mio let out a surprised sound.
男の人ってやっぱり力が強いですね。
Sorry, did I hurt you?
いえ、びっくりしただけです。ギュッてしてもらうと子供の頃にお父さんと歩いていた時を思い出してなんか安心もしますね。
I'm the surprised one here. I didn't expect you to do this. I held up our intertwined hands for a moment for emphasis.
だって恋人らしくしないとって先輩が言ったんじゃないですか。それにみちるちゃんからいつもお兄さんとこうやって投稿してるって聞いてましたし。
So you wanted to try it too? An important question came to mind. I hesitated about asking it out loud, but eventually I decided I should just come out and say it. Don't you think you should go on a date? I mean, don't you think you should wait until you go on a date with Suji before you hold hands with anyone?
そうですね。でも、レイ先輩のことも好きですから大丈夫です。ちゃんと思い出になります。
Even Mio seemed a little surprised she could say that, but her smile still held steady.
先輩は私と手をつないでみてどうですか？
I don't know.
そうですか。ドキドキしてるのは私だけか。
Mio said these words with a crestfallen expression. Then she reluctantly let go of my hand.
それじゃあ先輩、今日もありがとうございました。
Yeah, we should get home.
夢を一つ叶えましたし、お夕飯を作らないといけませんからね。
I hope your most important dream comes true as well.
はい。
Mio quietly nodded and left. I stood and watched her until she disappeared. The twilight hours of summer. The voices of the cicadas. The air remained hot and muggy even after the sun set, but for some reason my hand felt a little cold, seemingly yearning for Mio's warmth. I realized I still had time to use the pocket watch and return when Mio was here with me. And even if I did, then what? I took out the watch and stared at the second hand, mulling over it. I was cutting it really close. After a moment's hesitation, I finally threw it against the ground.
先輩は私と手をつないでみてどうですか？
5 minutes ago, she asked me that question before she left. I don't know. Exactly how should I put it? Just one little bendum like that can change everything.
考えないように。
I know we're only doing this to help you overcome your social anxiety around boys. I'm just trying not to read too much into it. I really was trying my darndest. It's not like that I was able to completely avoid thinking about it, though.
それは。
Miu, Shuji already has a girl that he likes. Miu fell completely silent. Her facial expression didn't change, but all the tension went out of her hand, so I could tell that the news was a big shock to her. Her hand started trembling even more. I felt weighed down by sadness. Having to tell Miu the news that I knew would be too painful for her to hear turned out to be sadder for me than I expected. I'm sorry. He told me that when I talked to him after school.
どうして先輩が謝るんですか？
If I told you earlier, then we wouldn't have gone on a date. We never would have held hands either.
いいえ。
Miu gently smiled and shook her head.
さっきまでは美咲ちゃんがいたから言えなかったでしょうし、今も私が傷つかないようにしてくれてるじゃないですか。先輩は悪くありません。ありがとうございます。
She was grateful to me. Miu let go of my hand and bowed her head to me.
先輩、今日はありがとうございました。明日もまたよろしくお願いします。
Tomorrow?
明日と明後日は休みですね。月曜日からで。
That's not what I meant. I didn't know what to say next. Luckily, she seemed to pick up quickly on what I was trying to tell her.
石田先輩に好きな人がいても、私のすることに変わりはありませんよ。壁に当たって砕けてみせます。
After making that bizarre announcement, she bowed politely to me again and then left. I was dumbstruck. So, she's not going to give up on confessing?
あの女子とお主では見ているものが違うからな。
A voice answered me. Crow's skirt billowed in the wind as she descended from the sky.
稀にだが あの手の人間がいる。お主や多くの人間は過去を見ているから、何かの失敗を取り繕うために我が輩の力を使おうと考える。しかしあの女子のように未来を見ている人間にとっては、失敗はあくまでも成功までの道行きでしかない。
So, failure is an inevitability then? I think Mio said something like that before too.
人にとってどちらが賢いなどということは我が輩には分からんがな。
I'm at a loss. He's really beat. Mia was too good for this earth. She was a very smart, brave, and optimistic kind of girl. Unfortunately, she was also naive enough to believe that all her dreams would come true if she just worked hard enough. You could say that her biggest strength was also her greatest weakness. Mio, most people aren't as strong-willed as you. I muttered, as if she was still here. Mio understood something that ordinary people could not. I still didn't completely understand it either. She said that she liked Shuji, but she also said that she liked me. And she didn't seem to understand just how deep an effect those words had.
お主の友人がみちるを好きだったのは良好だな。
I looked up at Crow's mischievous face. Fortunate? You mean it's a good thing?
そうであろう。このままあのミウという女子の告白が失敗すれば、堂々とお主と付き合えるではないか。もとよりお主は繁殖目的で女子探しをしていたのだし、だからこそあの女子のそばにいようとしていたわけだろう。何を悩むことがある。
Hey, Crow. You wouldn't happen to be the devil on my shoulder, would you? Even if Crow had no concern for other humans, there was no need for her to bludgeon me over with the head with her point like that. But I still understood. And it was because I understood that I couldn't really get angry at her. If Mio was going to end up being rejected, that would put the ball in my court. Of course, it wasn't ever my intent to play a situation like that from the beginning, but it wasn't like I hadn't considered this possibility at all either. I helped Mio for the same basic reason that Shuji did. Just as Shuji lent her his umbrella because she was a cute girl, I probably wouldn't have helped out either if she wasn't a cute girl. And now I was finally becoming aware of my ulterior motive for helping her. Mio already liked me more than she liked Shuji. Probably. I don't think I'm conceited. Besides, even if she hasn't fully realized it herself yet, Mio is a smart enough girl that I was certain she'd put two and two together soon enough. If she's still going to confess, she should do it sooner rather than later.
まだ他人の恋愛を成就させてやろうなどと考えているわけか。
Humans are supposed to have some sense of pride and morality, you know.
そうではなかろう。お主に足りないのは、お主自身があの女子でいいと決める覚悟だ。言い換えれば重さだな。
What would you know about bushes? You spend your whole day floating through the sky.
しぶとい軽さだのう。
Crow was growing visibly frustrated as she continued to hover in the air.
まあお主もあの女子も修二とやらもみちるも自分たちに嘘がつけない人間であることはわかるがな。
Lying to ourselves?
さあよ。伊達に我が輩は人間観察をしておらんよ。対面や倫理などお主たちにとって本当はさまつなことなのだろう。こだわっているものは信念だ。人というのは法は曲げられても自分の信念は曲げられぬ。途中で曲がるやつは最初からその程度のものでしかないが、時折どうしても曲げられぬものがいる。たまたま今回はそんな人間が揃ってしまっているだけだな。そして経験上信念のある人間は我が輩の力を使わん。
So what? You're saying that I'm a coward because I use the watch's power all the time?
我 お主の本質がどちらかはまだ判断がついておらん。ただ周りの状況がどうであれ、結局は何かを決めるのはお主のさじ加減一つであろうと言ってるだけだ。
Crow probably didn't have any specific reason to be telling me all this. She wasn't trying to cheer me up, trick me, or insult me. Well, maybe she did insult me a bit. Alright, I understand. She didn't really have to tell me, because I already understood. I'm not as stupid as the protagonists in games and TV shows always seem to be. I can at least understand that much. I look up at the sky, filled with the dying light of sunset, and sighed. I guess I was still a little confused. Good grief. Yay! Another chapter, another hour.
Yeah.
Let me save it. Yo. Save it. Saved. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out to the end. If you did hang out to the end. If you didn't hang out to the end, then I'm talking to a wall, and nobody will hear me, and I'm wasting my time. But I still got to thank you guys for watching nonetheless, just in case somebody decides to stick around. So, shoot, what just happened? Try to remember what just happened. A recap of the whole thing. So, we went on a date with Mew, and Misaki came along, and the protagonist realized how much it sucks to go shopping with girls, because they can never decide what to wear or what to do. And in the end, we broke the news to Mew that Shuji has somebody else that he likes, namely our blind sister, oddly enough. But Mew took it in stride. She was like, so what? I want to keep moving forward. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Stay tuned. See what happens next.